Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, your Stampin' Chick, here with a fabulously fun, simple, easy, and beautiful thank you card. I'm using the Witty-Cisms stamp set from the 2020 Spring Mini Catalog, and I absolutely love it because it has all of these fun little quirky, witty sentiment and image stamps that you can use just the stamp and image together in one shot, making simple cards just like how I've done here. Absolutely beautiful and so much fun. Alright, let's get to it and let me show you what you need to create this project. Alright, the first thing you're going to need is a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 inch real red cardstock scored at 5.5 inches. Now this is going to give you your card base. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock measured 4 inches by 5 1/4. This is going to be a layer, one on the outside and one on the inside of the card. Then you're also going to need a scrap of Whisper White cardstock and a scrap of Real Red cardstock to run through the die cut machine using the layering squares dies. And you'll just measure out which one of the dies fits your sentiment piece, okay? And then we'll have these die cut and we're stamping on this piece and we'll layer it together. Now, I've already done a good share of the stamping because I want to be able to show you how I colored in the strawberry, and I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time. So, we've got our card base, we have our 2 card layers, we have our sentiment piece, and then we're also going to need a bit of the double-stitched red satin ribbon and some rhinestones. And then we're going to use Stampin' Blends to color our images. We're using the light basic black, the old olive combo, and the real red combo. Alright? Okay, first things first, let's go ahead and assemble the front part of our card. We're just going to take one of those Whisper White layers and we're going to tie a basic knot around the front. Alright, so let me grab my ribbon scissors. And we're just going to tie this into a knot right here on the front. And I like to put the knot over to the side, and it works that way when you're putting the little sentiment box on the card. So to start with, we'll go ahead and tie that on, and then we want it to go not quite middle, but just north of middle, okay? And then we'll go ahead and straighten up our edges. And then use some snail to attach it to the card base. Okay. All right. Now, on the inside panel, I'm going to show you how I did this. So the stamped image has the thank you very much included on the stamp. It's one beautiful, fabulous little stamp. And we're going to mask it off so that we can just do the strawberry itself. Alright? So what you're going to do is take some strips of washi tape and you're just going to mask off the areas that you don't want stamped. Alright, now you can do this for any stamp you have. This is an alternative to cutting the stamp apart, which you can also do. But in this case, with the sentiment perfectly aligned on the top and the bottom, I would actually recommend just masking it off instead. Alright, now we'll take some of our Tuxedo Memento Black ink and ink it up, and then before we stamp onto the card, warning, 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 before you stamp onto the card, make sure that you peel the washi tape off of your stamp first, okay? We do not want the washi tape on the stamp when we stamp it onto the card, because if you do, you will end up with a strip of black above and below your stamped image. Alright, so now we're just going to focus on the strawberry, and then you have just the strawberry. A lot simpler and easier than cutting it apart, and you don't have to worry about lining it back up to put it back together the next time you want to use it. Alright, now I want to show you how I colored the strawberry. First and foremost, I took the light basic black and I colored in all of those little seeds. You want to just give it a little extra oomph, a little more bold color. So we want to make sure that we're going over those seeds. Alright, next thing is we're going to take the bullet point of the darker Old Olive and the brush point of the lighter Old Olive. And this stamp is really easy. In fact, the entire stamp set, excuse me, the entire stamp set is really easy to color with the coloring of the Stampin' Blends, because it's already got the shadowy spots for you. All you have to do is kind of go within the parameters of the shadowy spots and your project will look fabulous. Now, one thing to bear in mind when you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, that a squiggly line is easier to blend than a straight line. And by that I mean, you see how I've got, there's not an actual straight line here, it's kind of a squiggle. When you're blending along the lighter shade, it will blend easier. It's not as hard to get rid of the lines when the lines were kind of squirrely to begin with. And so that's going to be my term for that, squirrely lines. But basically, when you're coloring your shadowy areas with the deeper color, just make sure that you're not drawing a straight line, that you're actually drawing like squiggles. And you'll be able to see, I think, a little better with the red. So now I'm going to take the bullet tip of the darker red, and using the shadowy areas as my guide, I'm just going to squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. And at this point, it's okay to just squiggle right over the top of the black seeds. So don't worry about that. And then take the brush tip of the lighter real red, and in swirly motion, just swirl around the areas that you need to cover and fill in. And this will help the colors blend together so that you have a really nice shading and highlighting. And then when I'm coloring something that I want some depth, I go a little heavier around the edges and then real lightly swipe across the middle so it gives it some highlighted areas. Okay? Alright, so that's how we're going to color our strawberry. And now this is ready to go on the inside of the card. And because the outside stamped image has that cute little thank you very much sentiment, I'm actually not going to put another sentiment on the inside. I've decorated my inside with the strawberries, so I'm fine with that. And the nice contrast between the red and white, I think, lends very nicely to give it a really good finished look. And it gives me plenty of room to write my thank you note. Alright, now the last thing that we need to do, well, next to last thing, we need to put our bling too, right? The last thing we need to do before that is to put the die cut squares on. And we're just going to layer them right over the top of the ribbon, just like that. Give it a good press down, and then there is our card. Very pretty. Last thing to do is put a little bling bling on the card, and we are done. There we go. What do you think? Beautiful, right? Anyone would be happy to get this in the mail, and I already have a plan for both of these cards. Okay, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with me and doing this card. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to bringing more projects to you in the coming days. And if you folks are already sending out cards to people, thank you so much. We really need to send as many cards as we can to folks just to say hello, just to say I'm thinking of you, or whatever. We need a little smile in the mail, don't we? Alright guys, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the little bell to be notified when I post a new video. And be sure to check out my blog, stampinchicktn.blogspot.com, where you'll find this project and all sorts of other projects that you can recreate yourself. Excuse me. The allergy season is upon us. And you can find me at #TheStampinChick on any social media network. Thank you all. Bye for now.